So I've received, communications and messages about this recent bill in Mississippi, House Bill 1484, where it's creating a bounty program, but they've neatly tucked in the penalties for illegal migrants within the state. Illegal trespass is what they call it. And so I picked up the bill. It's pretty thin and doesn't take long to go through. And here's some takeaways I picked up. And I think one really important detail is just not being mentioned. So on its face, first and foremost, they're saying if you want to be part of the bounty system, a bounty hunter for illegal immigrants within the state of Mississippi, you have to be a surety bonds guy, bail bonds dude, somebody who would normally go out and enforce someone who jumps bond or bail. That in itself seems pretty straightforward. I would point out the fucking irony, though, that they're going to pay $10,000 per, caught illegal immigrant. That's like potentially millions of dollars a year in payouts based on the illegal immigrant numbers that we are hearing from people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And, they are one of the poorest states in the union. And I don't know if dumping this much money into getting aliens out of your state are ultimately going to translate into a good investment. I'm not sure, because 1 in 5 people in Mississippi is considered impoverished. I should know. I chose to live there because of how cheap it was. Save some bang! So with that said, okay, so we got the bounty program trying to show common sense as far as you can't just be an average Joe citizen on the street going around harassing and arresting people. You have to get certified, and its certification only is good for 4 years. And there's like a bunch of little minuscule 2% up to $20 blah, blah, blah fees and yada, yada. You get the idea. Bureaucracy. Then we get into the crime itself. So if you get caught in Mississippi illegally, okay, that aggravates a normal civil charge into a felony with a life sentence. And this is where I'm finding a lot of people stop their videos. This is where they stop talking about the legislation. Now, I am by no means in favor of a bounty system or anything like this. I agree that, if you're going to come to the United States illegally, there will be consequences for doing so because it is breaking the law. However, I also recognize we have a very fucking broken ass immigration system. As I mentioned in a previous video just last night, we have 3.5 million immigration cases on backlog, and Trump just froze everything. I'm sure by now it's up to 4 million, tomorrow 5 million. You get the idea. It's piling up fast. I recognize that these raids aren't fixing anything. It's helping the cartels make money. Because our system's so broken, people are going to keep paying the cartels to sneak them in the border every time, constantly. But anyway, I digress. Being missed is the second paragraph underneath the felony language. Underneath the you're going to be in life in prison for being an illegal alien in Mississippi. Section B. Provisions of this section don't apply if the federal government, gives a written agreement with the department. Basically, extradite, all right, and takes them into custody, and they get this done within 24 hours, and they are committed to deporting this person, ASAP. So I'm not going to go off on some big rant about private prisons and making profits off of illegal aliens. Yes, they do this. I mean, we had a gentleman who was here legally for asylum, and he got sent to Tallahatchie. Legally here seeking asylum, and they imprisoned him in Tallahatchie prison in Mississippi. Yeah. So believe me, I am not for any of this. I think it's important that we have a very open and fair discussion. Realistically, I think 24 hours, that's being a little too optimistic on Mississippi's part. I don't genuinely think Mississippi wants to be housing a bunch of illegal aliens in its prisons because they're already, overcrowded with minor offenses anyway. But Mississippi has private prisons. And even though they have to charge 10% less than the cost that a state prison would have to, pay for a prisoner, I mean, they ain't gonna say no. They gotta hold on to people, right? But that's still a cost that the state of Mississippi, they can't afford it. What I think really needs to be called attention, though, is that there is a line that will be designated for citizens to report suspected illegal immigrants. And I think if it results in an actual deportation, that reporter will get $1,000. And while I think bounty systems are gross, it's what it is. It's just more ridiculous spending. I think right now there's enough hate of immigrants in America, Mississippi wouldn't even have to pay anybody. Like, people wouldn't even want $1. But with that said, for those of us out here who want to help immigrants, including those who are legal, you know, not necessarily like heavy crime guys, but like, you know, they came over here to work, all right? For those of us who want to see the immigration system fixed and not being used like a political football, you're also at risk through the state of Mississippi, including if you're outside the state assisting in illegal within the state of Mississippi. They have set up a whole little system in there to get your ass for aiding and abetting as well. So yeah, if you're yelling La Migra, okay, they could potentially haul your ass to jail. You have to bond out and then, you know, face up to, I think, a year in jail and $1,000 fine. So maybe that's how they plan to like balance the cost of paying private citizens getting bounty rewards. They'll just, you know, put a bunch of us into the system instead. Now, some have said that this would infringe on our free speech rights. I don't know. I will just have to test the system to see. I'm not a constitutional lawyer or anything like that. And I've written on immigration issues, but nothing like this complex. But that is the low down and dirty about House Bill 1484 that I picked up. So hope this helps kind of bring a little more clarification. And by the way, if you like my content, if you like my points of view, if you want to throw spaghetti, potatoes, and garbage at me because you can't stand me, whatever your motivation is, please like, share, follow, and consider going to my website, www.mogpodcast.com. That is www.modcast.com. Or you can even check out my link tree in my bio. I've got Spotify, Substack, YouTube, like Blue Sky, you name it, I'm on there. Connect with me. You know, I do follow for follow on those apps, so I can help grow your numbers. You can help grow mine. And we can share like ideas. See you there.